What if I told you that the key to a secure and a prosperous retirement lies hidden within the seemingly mundane choices you make today about your workplace pension funds? In this video, we're not just discussing pension funds, we're uncovering the secrets to transforming your pension from an unloved savings pot into an active force of nature for your future. Together, we're going to unlock the enigma of default funds and untangle the web of risk profiles and shine a light on some of those obscure fees and charges. So be prepared to challenge yourself to get your money working both harder and smarter for you and for your future. Welcome back to the channel, and if this is your first time, a very warm welcome to the Economies channel, where together we're going to learn the language of money and wealth. But we're also dedicated to mastering money and making financial wisdom available to all. My name is Simon, and I'm a chartered financial planner here in the UK. So selecting the right funds for your workplace pension is a pivotal decision that can significantly impact your retirement savings and help you and your family in the future. But up to 97% of people are invested in the one-size-fits-all default fund. But by taking control of your investment future, this could catapult you automatically straight into the top 3%. Get it right and you could retire earlier than planned. But get it wrong and you may need to delay or defer your retirement, or even consider lowering your standard of living. Now, I'm just going to pop back down to the studio, so please bear with me. So with numerous options available to you, it's essential to understand the key factors to consider. And by using the REDSTEP method, you're going to be able to narrow down the list of hundreds of funds down to just a handful of funds that are going to help you build your wealth well into the future. But before we get into this, I'm going to pop up the usual disclaimer here to state that this video is for education and entertainment purposes only and shouldn't be misunderstood or misconstrued as giving or offering financial advice. So what is the REDSTEP method? Well, this is going to be broken down as follows: risk profile, ESG, diversification, the style of investment, which could be either active or passive, your time horizon, the expenses, and of course these are going to include fees and charges, and finally performance. Now, to help bring all this to life, I'm going to tell you the story of Victoria, who watched our pension consolidation video, and I'm going to link that in the description below. So after consolidating her pensions onto a platform, she needed to select her investment fund from a list of literally several hundred. So she got in touch with the Economies channel to suggest this video content to help people in a similar situation. So she wanted to take control of her pension and to move away from the company default fund, where a staggering 97% of people decide to leave their money until retirement. So step one, R is for risk profile. Now the first step is to understand your long-term goals, which for Victoria was retirement. But your goal could be paying for university fees for the children, buying a property, or saving for a deposit for a buy-to-let, for example. But you also need to understand the level of risk that you're willing to take, the level of risk that you need to take to reach your goals, and finally, the level of risk that you can afford to take based on your overall circumstances. And these types of risks are very different from each other, and your level of knowledge and your level of experience will generally steer you in the right direction, so you'll know which of these is more important to you. Now, if you don't know the level of risk that you're comfortable with taking, there are plenty of risk questionnaires online to act as a guide and to help you get started. Now, if you decide you are willing to take a lot of risk with your investments, please remember that you're going to have to experience a lot of volatility, especially in the short term, and that's the highs and the lows. So please make sure you can control your emotions when the going gets tough, and it will get tough. Step two is the E for ESG. Now the next step is to look for any other investment preferences that you might have, such as ESG. Now ESG stands for environment, society, and governance. And this has been a very popular way of investing, especially since the pandemic, as people decided to look more closely at how and where their money was invested to have a more sustainable and a more positive impact on the environment for future generations. Now, if you've got investment preferences such as this, you're going to need to make sure that the fund offers a screening process as part of the overall selection process to make sure that the companies that they invest in not only do no harm, but also act as a positive force for good for the future. Now, the D is for diversification. Now, the next step is to ensure that your fund is well diversified by investing in a wide range of companies, but also countries and sectors. By now, you know that we love a quote on this channel, and the legendary Warren Buffett said that diversification is financial protection against ignorance. Now, he did have the view that by not having all your eggs in one basket, your overall risk could generally be lower. Now, if in your list of funds to pick from, they may have multi-asset in the title, and that basically means that they're going to be investing in different asset classes such as stocks and shares, bonds, commercial property, cash, as well as alternatives. Now, as we don't know what's going to happen in the market tomorrow, let alone in 25 or 30 years, being well diversified can easily help you keep on track. And if you are finding value in this video and you happen to be watching on your mobile phone, then why not just turn it sideways and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, as well as hitting the notification bell so you don't miss any weekly content. And you will not get an electric shock, I promise. But it does help get this financial wisdom as far and as wide as possible to as big an audience as possible. And this is your channel and this is your voice. So if you've ever had a positive experience or even a negative experience around selecting investment funds, then please let me know in the comments below and we can all learn together. Next up is S for the style of investing, and that could be active or passive. So which is best, active investing versus passive investing? Well, this debate has been raging on for years, but put simply, active managers make an investment decision in an effort to outperform the benchmark with their stock picking skills and research, whereas passive managers simply track an index or a segment of a market. Now, if you do have investment preferences such as ESG, as we mentioned earlier, or smaller companies, emerging markets, or even investing for income, you might prefer to invest with an active manager who does have specialist knowledge in those particular areas. However, S&P Global stated that 86% of US active funds underperformed their benchmark over a 10-year period. Now, that would indicate to me that this debate, which has been raging for years, might have finally been settled. Next is T for the time horizon. Now, this is going to tie in closely with your overall risk profile. Now, generally speaking, the longer your time horizon, the more risk that you can consider taking, especially for the longer term. Now, this is because you're going to have longer to recover for any market falls, but you need to be sure that you're going to be comfortable with and have the stomach for that level of risk. Now, generally speaking, the higher risk portfolios generate higher returns over time, but they also come with more volatility in the short term. For example, a 40-year-old may have a longer time horizon, so be more willing to consider taking more risk than perhaps someone who is a bit more closer to retirement. The E is for expenses, and that obviously includes fees and charges. Fees and charges can make a significant difference to your overall returns. Now, according to TrustNet, the average active fund in the US is 0.95% per year. And that compares with the average passive fund in the US, which is 0.1%. But these can be as low as 0.02%, effectively free. Now, the chart on screen is going to show the effect of fees and charges on a £100,000 investment over 30 years with an average 7% annual return. Now, portfolio A in blue with fees of 0.95% has an end value of $582,532. Now, portfolio B in green, which has got fees of 0.1%, has an end value of $740,169. Now, that means that portfolio A deducts, now wait for it, $157,636 more in fees, and that works out to be 27% of the total value of the fund over 30 years. That is absolutely staggering. Now, P is performance. Now, most, if not all people, will look towards the fund fact sheets or online platforms such as TrustNet, Interactive Investor, Morningstar, Yahoo Finance, or perhaps investing.com to see how their fund has performed against the benchmark on a regular basis. Now, this is completely natural, and you can see if the fund has outperformed the benchmark over a long period, which might give you confidence about the future performance as well. However, past performance is not a guide to, nor does it predict future performance, as the information is now backward looking and a lot of things can change in the future. For example, the manager could take more risk than necessary chasing ever higher returns. The economic cycle could turn and the outlook could worsen. And the companies in your portfolio could suddenly perform really badly. Or maybe the manager got really lucky by getting into Nvidia really early. So in conclusion, selecting the right funds for your workplace pension involves a thorough understanding of your investment options, personal factors, the cost and the performance of the different funds, and this can all be achieved by following the REDSTEP approach. You should also review and adjust your fund selections to ensure that they continue to meet your needs as you progress through different stages of your career and of course your life. But with careful planning and informed choices, you can maximize the growth potential of your workplace pension and secure a much more comfortable retirement, not just for you, but also for your family. So thank you so much for watching to the very end. Thank you for your time and for your patience, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week.